Alright, got them hanging again. Now what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to come through. You can find where their tail's at, and you can definitely tell. You can see where it's at. I'm no use plucking it. We're not going to keep it. We're going to cut it off anyways. So I just cut the tail off. I'll come out here, find that last joint in the wing. I'm going to cut those wing tips off because we're not going to use those either. Just get those out of the way. So you cut around it. Hold that for a second, Gabe.
Okay.
And we pop that joint. We cut back with the knife. Cut there. Cut that off. I'm going to spin them around. Gabe, spin them. You do the same thing on the other side. Just find that last joint. Come in, cut around. All the way around. Pop it. Off with that. Okay, so we're done with the knife now for a little bit. That's all the main cutting. Now I've got Gabe here, and what we're going to do is, you can tell we scalded it, and these feathers just come off super easy. So we're just going to go through, and we've got the garbage can below us, and we're just going to pull all these feathers out. They make plucking tools for this, big tubs with rubber fingers. And if a guy was harvesting and butchering lots of birds, it'd be well worth having, because they make them big enough that'll do turkeys and chickens. But right now, for the amount of production we have, I mean, we're talking, I maybe butcher, well, I've butchered 4 turkeys this year, and I'll probably end up butchering maybe a dozen chickens. It's just as easy for me, and those are kind of an expensive piece of equipment. We'll just do it this way. Takes a little bit more time, but we can do it. So, and the best way I found to do it is you get a starting spot, and you just work away from that spot, trying to get as much as you can. We're going to have to come back through when it's all said and done, and get the ones we miss. We'll try to get the majority of them right at first. And then we'll go through and clean up what we missed. As you can see, like I got the legs here. I want to get all these little feathers right to the very end, because we cut those legs off right here at this joint. We want to leave all the skin on this as we can. I've done quite a bit in the past with wild turkey. We really enjoy hunting wild turkey. And these are a totally different animal. Wild turkeys, they don't even look like this when you get them skinned. They're butchered up. And I don't pluck a wild turkey, because I don't cook them the same way you would cook this turkey. This is more like the butterball you're going to buy at the store, except this turkey has lived a good life. He's been free range. He's had free run of the property. Hasn't been locked up in a cage. Been able to eat bugs, whatever plants he finds. We've supplied a supplemental feed for him as well, but he got the run of the place for as long as he was here. And like I said, he had one bad second. So yeah, we're just going to keep working all the way down. I want to go clear down to his neck, getting the majority of these feathers off. Every once in a while you have to stop and clean off your hands, so you can see where you got feathers and where you haven't got feathers. Okay, so we got a good chunk of this done. We're going to end up coming back and just, like I say, doing some fine picking. Now we got these wing feathers. These you kind of pretty much have to pull one at a time as you come down the wing for the main flight feathers, which they're flight feathers, but these birds couldn't fly. They could fly at first, but this particular breed, they grow so fast and get so big, they kind of lose that ability. They can barely get up to roost at night on the fence. Good tough, Gabe. Grab one at a time. Throw them in the garbage so we don't have to pick them up, okay? And you can see these feathers, after that scalding process, they come out a ton easier. I've tried to do chickens in the past without scalding. I'm thinking, that's a waste of time. It's not a waste of time. It's all the difference in the world about getting this done fast and then having to go back and pick all the little pins. This gets most of the feathers out right off the bat instead of having to come back and pick out a whole bunch of little ones. Yeah. Goes pretty quick, really. He should start to be looking more like what you unwrap out of the package out of the grocery store at this point. What more people are used to. Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas dinner, Easter, whatever special family meal you want. We've got multiple of them, so we're going to end up we'll definitely have to save one for Thanksgiving, but we'll end up probably eating one this week just because I want to see how well they turned out. Okay, that is the majority of his feathers. Got a couple left to pick out here. And once he's done cooling out too, tomorrow before I get ready to package him to freeze, we'll end up doing another once over and just doing a super thorough job picking all these little feathers out. Just making, because I know we're gonna miss some. But my main concern now is getting the majority of them off and getting them cooling out, so to preserve that meat. All right, everybody. We got them pretty well plucked. We're still picking a couple feathers here every once in a while. I'll still see them, and then I'll keep picking at them actually all the way up until I'm satisfied before I put them in the freezer. So, what we've got, the bottom of the turkey, the head's up here, feet. This is the vent right here, and this is where the breast comes down in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this knife and cut right across here. Get into that cavity where the guts are at. Being careful, I don't want to rupture any of those guts. Like that. So I got the vent here, and there's the two hip bones that come in right here. I'm going to be real careful. I'm going to find the end of that hip bone. I'm going to cut on the one side of it, and then come to the other side. Cut down. We want to leave that vent. We don't want to cut that. And now I'm going to come through and I'm going to connect this line. I got to cut that stomach muscle. Get down into that cavity where the guts are at. Same thing on this side. Come up like that. So we got that cut like that. Yeah, the guts kind of stink a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here on the front end. And they've got their craw up here. And I need to be able to get into that. So I'll cut a little hole up front. And we'll kind of break into there. And I'll find that. Alright, so we got this hole cut here. And here I'm just going to kind of work in here a little bit. These birds, where they're free range, I couldn't really control what they ate, if they ate. I haven't given them any supplemental feed for 24 hours. And if you could all help it, you don't want to feed them that last 24 hours because it just makes this part easier. I do have a little bit of stuff here in this craw. We're going to make sure we get that out of there. We don't want that down any of the meat. We don't want it to contaminate it. Okay, got that out. Now we'll spin it back around. Watch out, Gabe. Now we'll get him hanging out over this garbage can. Now we got the gizzard here. We got the heart, the lung, the liver. I'm not into saving it. I'm not going to save any of the guts. Going to pull all that out. Being real careful. We don't want any of the juices from that vent contaminate any of that meat down here. We got all that right there, just like that. That's out. We have a couple other things we got to pull out. The thing that people will forget on an animal, a bird, a chicken, a turkey, a grouse, a wild turkey, is their lungs. They're up in here, and you kind of got to feel on the inside along the rib bones, and they're kind of actually tucked in up against their spine. They're not like out and easy to get a hold of. So you kind of got to work at them, get them out, because you do not want to leave the lungs in. My grandma, I remember as a kid, we'd shoot grouse and stuff during hunting season, and man, we'd get in trouble if we forgot to take the lungs out of the grouse. So, okay, now all we got left is the windpipe here. I'm going to come back up here, I'll find it, make sure I get it cut. I'll reach in here, I'll find it again, pull it out, just like that. Now I've got the complete passage all the way through. What I'm going to do now is I've got a spot out in the yard where the grass is nice and we've hosed it down, the grass is clean. We're going to take this cookie sheet out there, we're going to cut the legs off, cut the head off, and just do a good rinse of this bird. We want to rinse it down really, really well, get all the extra blood out, start the cooling down process, and then we'll get them in a cooler full of ice. Cut off the legs, just like cutting the wings. We take it, we bend it. You can feel right where that joint's at. We're going to go all around. And if you do it right, it should pop pretty easy. Comes right off. Same thing here. Pop it. That comes off. Okay, now we're going to cut the head off. What we've got is this is where in the video this is his head's all white now because there's no blood. That's what makes their head change color when they're gobbling and strutting and stuff, is when they bring a bunch of blood up here into their head and it changes it from red and blues, and it makes it change color. Right there, this is where the feathers basically ended and the color portion started. We're going to take it back just a little bit past that. We're going to take the hatchet. It's Gabe's hatchet. He's letting me borrow it. Yeah. I got a line right there, and I got a block underneath. And it's just going to be one queen, one or three, however many it takes, I guess. Get that out of the road. Clean that off. Okay, now at this point, the bird is ready to be rinsed. Like I said, we're still picking a feather here every once in a while. And I'll take them in on the kitchen counter before I wrap them up to freeze them. Make sure we got them really good and really cleaned off before I freeze them. So we're going to get the hose them out, rinse them out really good, and go from there. Don't have enough fridge space to cool out 4 turkeys. So what I've got is I've got a couple of my big 5-day coolers. We've got a bunch of ice. We're going to put them in there overnight and let them cool out in that. So we'll go from there. So, like I was mentioning in the last clip, I don't have enough fridge space to cool out this many turkeys. So what we've got is I've got a bed of ice inside of this cooler. I've already got turkeys in that cooler. So what I've got here is I got the rest of this bag of ice. What we're going to do is I'm just going to right over the top of him, kind of get him up, piece up inside his body cavity,
and right here,
and up in front. I just want to give it an opportunity for him to cool out nice and solid overnight, and tomorrow, like I say, after he's cooled out, we'll finish making sure he's perfectly clean and no little pin feathers left at all, and get him wrapped up in the freezer so we can preserve them and use them later. So, okay guys, that's processing a turkey from field to cooler. We haven't got him in the freezer yet, but that's pretty self-explanatory. Once he cools out, we're going to end up putting him, get him in the freezer. Had Gabe's help today. Helped me pluck some birds, helped me do some other stuff, helped me catch them. So there you go. If you guys have any questions or comments about the process, go ahead and leave that in the comment section. If you have ideas for other videos you want, leave that in the comment section as well. If you like the videos I'm putting out, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. That way you get the most up-to-date content that I get put out. We're just here at High Desert Hollow trying to promote modern homesteading, and live a more self-reliant lifestyle. Adam with High Desert Hollow, signing out. Gabe, did you have something you wanted to say?
Bye.
See you guys. Oh, if I don't lose them off the table. Alright, so Gabe's going to do the hosing out. I'm going to kind of sit here and kind of guide and make sure we get it done alright. Start it over there so I don't get wet. No, put it there, you go. Maybe.
That turkey's gonna be cool.
Okay, that's good. Get me all wet. Start it up. Alright.
This turkey's gonna be cool. Right
Yep.
inside.
It's going to be cool. Okay, come back over there. What do you got to say, Gabe?
I don't know.
You don't know? Did you like raising the turkeys?
Yeah.
They were kind of fun to watch, huh?
Yeah, and gobbling.
And gobbling, yep. We heard lots of that, huh?
Yeah.
Now we're going to eat them, huh?
Yeah.